The weight of the gaze, how society shapes women's self-image. Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that deeply affects the lives of many women, but is rarely openly discussed. Have you ever stopped to think about the real impact that stares and comments can have on a person? And we're not just talking about fleeting discomfort, but an influence that can shape how someone sees themselves for their entire life. Imagine, for a moment, that from a very young age, every step you take is followed by gazes that weigh more than you can bear. For women with large breasts, this is a daily reality. Not just a series of curious glances, but a constant judgment that can lead to a silent war with their own bodies. What many people don't realize is that this unwanted attention goes beyond superficial discomfort. It seeps into the spine, literally, causing not only physical pain, such as back problems, but also deep emotional wounds that can affect self-esteem and perceptions of one's sexuality. In this video, we'll explore how this reality can be frightening and why it's so important to become aware of the impact our words and gazes can have. Because at the end of the day, the weight that many carry is not just physical, but also the burden of living under the shadow of standards and expectations that can destroy confidence and well-being. Stay with us, as this is a topic we all need to better understand and discuss more openly, not just out of empathy, but because changing this reality starts with each of us becoming aware. Today, we're diving into a rather unusual but extremely relevant topic. We're going to discuss a profound aspect of our feminine essence, a subject rarely brought up in everyday conversations, but one that deserves to be addressed with all the delicacy and without any prejudice. Today's topic is a curious observation that reappears in different cultures and even in scientific research: the discussion about whether the size of a woman's breasts can influence or indicate specific characteristics of her vagina. Throughout my life, I've encountered many theories circulating around this topic and have realized how these ideas can significantly shape women's self-esteem and body perception. I want to clarify right away that, despite being a frequently discussed topic, the connections people try to make between these two body features are more rooted in popular myths and cultural assumptions than in solid scientific evidence. There's a strong tendency to create narratives based on superficial observations or old beliefs that often don't hold up to rigorous studies. This lack of scientific foundation can lead to harmful generalizations that impact how women see themselves and their bodies. It's essential that we approach these topics with an open and critical mind, questioning what's culturally imposed and seeking to better understand the complexity of the female body. First, I want everyone to understand one very important thing. There is no direct link that determines what a woman's vagina is like based on the size of her breasts. It's essential to know that the female body is incredibly diverse, and every woman is unique in her form and essence. Despite hearing many theories and assumptions over the years, the truth is that there is no scientific rule that definitively connects these two characteristics. But what I've learned from my life experience and observations is that, while these theories may seem interesting, they often distort how women view themselves and their own bodily experiences. Now, let's explore a reality that many women face in their daily lives. Those with large breasts are often the focus of numerous stares and comments from a young age. While it might seem like a mere social or superficial issue, this constant attention has a significant impact on how these women perceive their own bodies and how they experience their sexuality. It's not just about feeling watched. It's an influence that can profoundly shape self-image and self-esteem. In addition to psychological repercussions, there are also significant physical effects. The weight of the breasts, especially when they are large, can significantly alter a woman's posture. This postural change is not just an aesthetic issue. It has practical implications that affect everything from weight distribution to spinal health. These changes can lead to complications such as chronic back pain and discomfort while walking, influencing how women move and feel in their daily activities. These combined factors can create a cycle where physical discomfort and social scrutiny contribute to a sense of alienation or disconnection from one's own body. It's vital to recognize and address these issues, as they directly affect the well-being and quality of life for these women. Openly discussing these topics can help promote greater understanding and respect for the diversity of women's bodies and individual experiences. Psychologically, the impact of having large breasts goes beyond the physical. Many women feel that their sexuality is overly observed and judged, creating a complicated and often uncomfortable relationship with their bodies, including intimate parts like the vagina. I've met several women who, due to their larger breasts, felt that attention was too focused on this specific area of their bodies, leading them to neglect or even hide their relationships with other parts of themselves. This situation can create significant insecurities related to intimacy and pleasure, influencing how they feel in their most personal moments. A psychological study conducted a few years ago revealed something interesting. Women with large breasts tend to be more critical of their bodies, especially when comparing themselves to the beauty standards society imposes. Unfortunately, this often leads to unnecessary pressure to meet expectations that are unrealistic or even harmful to well-being. But the truth is, the relationship between breasts and the vagina is much more emotional than physical. It's like that old story of trying to fit into molds that weren't made for you. What's most important is realizing that these external expectations don't define who you are or your experience with your own body. Now, I want to share something that I consider fundamental. All women, regardless of breast size, should seek a connection with all parts of their bodies, including the vagina, from a place of acceptance and love. Over the years, I've heard many stories of women who began to truly feel good about themselves and their sexuality when they stopped worrying so much about their physical appearance and focused more on how they felt inside. They discovered that the beauty of the body lies in how it is experienced, not just in how it looks. I remember a conversation with a friend who had very large breasts. She confided in me that she had always felt a certain insecurity in intimacy, believing that her prominent breasts somehow overshadowed her true essence. During an intimate conversation, I asked if she had ever truly explored what gave her pleasure, independent of others' opinions. She was silent for a moment and then, with a shy smile, admitted that she had never allowed herself to go beyond the expectations others had about her body. Over time, she learned to rediscover and accept her body more fully. And the most beautiful part of this journey was discovering that her vagina, far from being eclipsed by her breasts, was a source of pleasure and connection with herself that she had never explored before. When we talk about physical characteristics and their hormonal influence, we often hear that women with larger breasts could have higher estrogen levels, which theoretically could result in a naturally more lubricated vagina. It's a hypothesis based on studies that correlate hormones with physical attributes. However, it's essential to understand that each woman's body is a unique and complex universe filled with nuances that go far beyond these simple correlations. The idea that a physical feature can determine another biological function is an oversimplification. In reality, estrogen and other hormones can vary significantly among women due to a variety of factors, including genetics, lifestyle, overall health, and many other aspects. Moreover, how each woman experiences her body is deeply personal and influenced by her emotional health, interpersonal relationships, and life experiences. It's important, then, that we avoid making general assumptions about how a woman should feel or what characteristics her body should have based solely on external observations. Instead, we should encourage each woman to understand and respect her own body, discovering what is normal for her within the vast and diverse spectrum of female biology. Acceptance and knowledge of her own body are the first steps toward a healthy relationship with her sexuality and overall well-being. It's essential to constantly emphasize that female sexuality goes far beyond what is visibly perceived. It should not be confined or shaped by societal expectations and standards of how women's bodies should look or behave. A woman's sexuality is a personal and intimate journey of discovering her own sensations, feelings, and pleasures, a vast and intricate universe that every woman has the right to explore on her own. Furthermore, it's crucial to encourage women to free themselves from external views and judgments. Society often imposes how women should feel about their bodies, how they should express their sexuality, or even what is considered normal. However, each woman lives a unique experience with her body, influenced by a diverse range of personal and exclusive factors, including her mental health, life history, and personal relationships. Focusing on how we feel internally, rather than how we appear externally, allows for a deeper and truer connection with the self. This involves exploring and accepting one's body in a way that respects individual boundaries and desires, discovering what truly brings pleasure and satisfaction. This journey of self-knowledge and acceptance is crucial for each woman to live her sexuality fully, authentically, and gratifyingly, free from the chains of unrealistic and often oppressive expectations. Thus, by approaching female sexuality with this perspective of authenticity and self-acceptance, we promote an environment where women can feel safe and valued in their individuality. This not only enriches the female experience, but also challenges and transforms the restrictive societal norms that limit the free expression of the feminine in all its entirety. This emancipation of women from oppressive standards allows each one to explore her sexuality without the barriers of prejudice and cultural imposition. Society often carves rigid molds that do not reflect the diversity and complexity of women's experiences. By breaking free from these expectations, women can redefine what it means to be themselves in terms of sexuality and bodily autonomy. The process of detachment begins with deconstructing long-standing myths and stereotypes. Many beliefs and assumptions that shape how women are perceived, and even how they perceive themselves, have no factual basis and only serve to perpetuate cycles of shame and insecurity. The more we engage in open and honest conversations about these topics, the more we can demystify these ideas and empower women to embrace their full potential, unburdened by limiting views of their bodies and desires.